Very good morning to you, Abuja, and welcome to the show Battle of Opinions, a show where we highlight conflicting views on topics affecting us as a people and as a nation. This is Citizen FM 93.7. I am your host, Mina. Today on Battle of Opinions, the big question we are asking is, ideally, who should own mineral resources? Okay? Ideally, who should own mineral resources? The federal government, the state government, or the indigenous people? Let's get into it. Mineral resources play an important role in the lives of the people. More than 1.3 billion people around the world in one way or another benefit directly or indirectly from the world's mineral resources in terms of employment. There are several views of the relationship between poverty and natural resource management. There are several claims published in journals and articles that the abundance of natural and mineral resources has been seen to increase the risk of social conflict in resource-rich countries. Countries with abundant mineral resources, example, oil, gas, diamonds, copper, and gold, have steadily underperformed in comparison to the resource-poor counterparts since the 1970s on a variety of things such as political indicators such as economic performance, good governance, human development, income equality, and democracy. That being said, it is important to question how the country regulates access to its resources and to understand the interrelationship between resources, resource management, and resource extraction arrangements. On that note, the big question on Battle of Opinions today is, who should own mineral resources? The federal government, the state government, or the indigenous people? On the show with me, I have Dr. SALLAU. Dr. SALLAU, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I also have with me NUBARI SATTAH. He is the president and founder of the Niger Delta Congress. Good morning, NUBARI.
Good morning, Nina.
Good morning. It's great
Good morning,
to have
everyone.
you on the show. Thank you for making time out to be a part of this program.
Thank you for having me.
All right. This is for you, Dr. SALLAU. An article publication for an annual review of political science tells us that the concentration of wealth impoverishes the state, whereas the dispersion of wealth enriches the state. What are your thoughts on this in relation to ownership and management of mineral resources in the country?
Thank you very much, ma'am. Mina, you see, this is not an issue of debate because we all know that the mineral resources of Nigeria today is in the exclusive list.
Yeah.
And when they said something is in the exclusive list, that's to say it's beyond the state, the community, as well as indigenous or whatsoever.
Yeah.
So, the control of mineral resources in line with the Minerals and Mining Act 2007 belongs to the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just it.
Okay, and how about land? Who does land belong to?
Well, the law, according to Section 27 of the law, say that the state controls the land.
Okay, state government
has the right over the land.
Okay, but mineral resources belongs to the federal government.
Yes.
Okay, so I mean, in this arrangement, in connection to the quote that the concentration of wealth impoverishes the state, whereas dispersion of wealth enriches the state. In this arrangement now, how does this benefit us as a people?
You see, that is where the issue of doing things right comes on board. When I mean doing things, especially minerals, resources, managing the mineral resources right, it's of paramount importance. You get it?
Yeah.
How do we do this? We have various laws and regulations governing all this.
Yeah.
And if everything is to be followed in total, believe you me, the richer, the state can even be richer than even the federal government as time goes on. But we must get it right. The community must be ready. They must be informed. The mineral advocacy issue must come on board for people around where these mineral resources are found to know the importance of what it's all about, how to go about it, so that they will not be shortchanged at long run. That's just it.
All right, NUBARI, are you there?
Yes, I am.
All right. Okay, there are three strong variables that play a part in how mineral resources are extracted and used. The structure of ownership over the mineral resources, the importance of strong institution, and the influence of international factors. How do these three variables affect the mineral resource industry in Nigeria?
Well, the truth is, I would say those variables you mentioned do not really affect mineral ownership in Nigeria.
Okay.
Ownership in Nigeria is simply affected or rather impacted by the commitment of elites to actually simply plunder it. And that's what simply guides mineral ownership in Nigeria, not any of these factors that you've created. And if you take a look at the legal constructs that now govern the extraction and management of mineral resources, you see that this is at its core wealth accumulation, plundering, concentrating it in the hands of a few who are trying to systematically prevent the people or the lands where it is found, the people who own the resources, from actually benefiting from it. These are the things that actually guide mineral ownership as far as Nigeria is concerned. And the letters of the law as governs it makes that very, very, very clear.
So what can be done about this?
Well, the truth is that it's structural. It's structural. There's something that the 18th century economist Frederick Bastiat mentioned. And he said that when plunder has become a way of life for a group of men in a society, they create for themselves a legal system that authorizes it and a moral code that glorifies it. And this code just basically captures mineral resource management in this country. The only way that we can actually progress, that we can actually advance, is pulling away from plundering. That's one of that's basically the only way that we can advance. Because as it stands now in this country, the entire system of governance revolves around plundering, not around production, not around innovation. It simply revolves around plundering. And at this particular point in time, what is being plundered? It is crude. It is oil. Maybe in the next couple of 2-3 decades, when oil, if oil does become obsolete, and as the world is trying to move away from fossil fuel, they'll probably move towards another resource to plunder. And at this point in time, these are the kind of things that actually the country is moving around. And that's why, if you take a look at the recent multidimensional poverty report, I don't know if you're aware of it or if you've viewed that document, you can see the poverty in the land. Apart from that, you can also see the irony of the fact that United Delta, the South region, where this oil is being generated from, accounts for the largest population of poor people in the entire southern Nigeria. Now, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make economic sense. But it actually does make political sense. Because as far as political control is concerned, there is this poverty, economic emasculation. It's more like a strategy. Because for you to successfully subjugate the people, you must ensure that they do not have the economic means to actually stand up for themselves. And it's actually quite evident, because you have a situation where in this country, United Delta people have been prevented from outrightly benefiting from their own resources. And for you to want to entrench that, for you to want to ensure and guarantee that this activity continues over time without having that it pushback from the people, you put in place the system, the structures to guarantee, to ensure that these people remain down economically, and that's what's happening in this country. And it needs to change. And the only way that can change is for us to be just, for us to understand that we cannot build a society on injustice. We cannot. We must build a society of fairness, on what is right, and not legalizing plunder, legalizing subjugation. Society cannot develop like that.
Doctors, actually, I had a conversation with Dr. SALLAU yesterday evening, and I was telling her a story of a friend of mine who talked about how they went to work somewhere in the north for a mining company. And this, my friend, is actually from the north central, let's say. So, but after some time, they got kicked out because the Indigens of the place were not happy with outsiders working in this particular place, and they wanted to be maybe the ones solely to work there or something. And we were talking about it, and Dr. SALLAU told me that, see, people are actually not like that. You know, that something must have started at the beginning to already spoil the minds of the people before that. So, Dr. SALLAU, what are your comments towards what NUBARI has said?
Yeah, thank you very much once again. See, just as we discussed earlier, in the law, it's clearly stated where you are going to have your company established or your mining site established in a place where you got your license ready.
Yeah.
There are certain procedures you are to follow. And if you follow these procedures rightly, believe you me, the best people you relate with, if we are so transparent to them, are the indigenous people, the community. They be your security, they be your guide. The issue of you saying that somebody was working there and they say they prefer their own person.
Yeah.
I don't think it works that way.
Yeah, he said so.
It doesn't work that way. Because in that community, I wonder if they will have a geologist.
Yeah.
Or a mining engineer, or a surveyor that is living in that community.
Yeah.
And if they have, what stop you as a company bringing in that a professional into your own company? If one thing in the whole issue, you need to employ a native into your organization. Is that not?
Yeah.
But they didn't specify that they must all be laborers.
Yeah.
So if one professional is there and they know that is there, they want to give him their own side of the monitoring and coordinating whatever is going on in that environment. If you're not giving them chance, what do you think will happen? All they think is that you have come to cheat them. And because of that, they have to kick your own two out.
Yeah.
So in that aspect, anybody that is going into mining, it's ready in the law. If you bridge it, you think it can, you can shortcut some places. You'll find it at the end of the tunnel waiting for you there. And by that time, you wouldn't like it because the community will now be aggressive.
Yeah.
And then, you know, asking them to come back, that total commitment and trust will not be there anymore. So that is exactly what I am saying.
Yeah.
Do the mining right from the beginning. Why do we say that the community should be the people concerning their lands? Why did we take it away from the state or from the emir or whoever. It's just because we want the benefit of mining to get to the grassroots. And if you think you can shortcut, well, by the time they know that you are cheating them, they will be on you. And when they are on you, you won't find that working environment conducive anymore.
So from what you've said, that means the mining laws are adequate and efficient.
Very adequate. In fact, some of the West African countries are copying our own law.
Wow.
And it's working perfectly with them. In fact,
problem may be execution.
Yes. Execution, implementation and execution. It's our major problem. Yeah.
All right, guys, you're listening to Citizen FM 93.7, and this is Battle of Opinions. We are talking about who should own mineral resources, the federal government, the state government, or the indigenous people. Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we would be looking at the history of, what people predicted that a rich natural resource country would be like, as opposed to what it currently is right now. So let's take a quick break. Don't go anywhere.
Make we join our hearts to build a nation of our dream. Citizen FM, Citizen FM. Your problem is my problem and my joy is your joy. Citizen FM, Citizen FM. Make we join our hearts to build a nation of our dream. Citizen FM, Citizen FM. Your problem is my problem and my joy is your joy. Epa! Citizen FM, Citizen FM. Make we join our hearts to build a nation of our dream. Citizen FM, Citizen FM. Your problem is my problem and my joy is your joy. Citizen FM, Citizen FM. Make we join our hearts to build a nation of our...
Citizens Tech Talk with Mina, bringing you news updates on digital technology around us, discussing the latest development and how technology can enrich you and make your life more exciting. Citizens Tech Talk with Mina. Welcome to our world of technology. Every Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 12. Citizens Tech Talk with Mina, expanding our global reach through technology.
Citizen FM Abuja. Now we be the voice of the people.
Welcome back. This is Citizen FM 93.7. I am Mina, and you are listening to Battle of Opinions. On today's show, the big question we are asking is, who should own mineral resources, the federal government, the state government, or the indigenous people? On the show, I have with me Dr. SALLAU and NUBARI SATTAH. And we are discussing a few things about, how mining works, who owns the land, who gives access to people to mine and all of that. But what we want to get into right now is the optimism about our future from what people used to say in the past. All right, given the initial optimism about the future prospects in the 1950s and 1960s, many development economists argue that these countries would grow much faster than resource-poor counterparts, precisely because their mineral wealth will provide them with abundant capital to industrialize and diversify their exports. But, well, it seems like this has been far from the case for Nigeria and many other African countries. Where would you say we got it wrong in terms of resource management and ownership rights? Nubari, this one is for you.
Okay. Before I get into that, there's something that Dr. SALLAU said when she mentioned that the mineral laws we have in this country are perfect and they are being copied.
Yeah.
They are adequate and they are being copied by other countries. I think I disagree with that. I think we have some of the worst mineral laws in this country, and quite visible from the fact that for over 5 decades, we've not been able to actually achieve anything. That's by the fact that we've spent as per 2010 over 120 trillion from crude oil exploration. It shows that the laws are not as adequate as she claims that it is. Now, talking about the fact that we've not been able to achieve much with as regards resources, mineral resources, it still boils down to the kind of laws and what incentivized those laws in the first place. As a matter of fact, when as at independence, when we became a country, we became a union of people, what was the legal construct on ground that governed the exploration, the exploitation of mineral resources? What was it on ground? It was basically 60% to the regions, 20% to the federal government, and 30% in what was then, quote unquote, a distributable pool. But we had the Civil War that truncated the First Republic. And when that war ended in 1970, what was the first legal construct or whatever that was put in place? It was Decree 13 of 1970 by Yakubu Gowon. What did he do? He simply reduced the derivation from that 50% to 45%. And 55% now went to the federal government. As at 1975, what happened? Under the General Murtala Mohammed government, we had Decree number 6. What did Decree number 6 do? It further reduced derivation to the region or to the newly created states to 20% for the state and 80% to the federal government.
Yeah.
We went on to 1977 when General Obasanjo came in, and there his Aboyade Commission derivation went to 0% and 100% to the federal government. We moved on from there to Shehu Shagari government, where it remained like that, and where the commission headed by Pius Okibo was set up that recommended allocation should go from 60% equality of states, 40% for population, and 10% of landmass. Yeah. But it was that nothing was done about that. It was now the National Assembly that was able to set aside 3%, quote unquote, for the development of the Niger Delta region. And then the General Buhari came, dropped it to 1.5. Then Ibrahim Babangida came, raised it to 3%. You can see that in the course of the history after the Civil War, we gradually started depriving the states, the federating units, of the resources to develop. We started centralizing it, and we started making the different sections of this country become independent on crude resource. Over time, we have created a system that, like I said, does not encourage production. If you look at the data, it's basically clear that 90% of the states today cannot exist, they cannot function without getting revenue from crude oil. That's what happens. That's what happens when you build a system that is extractive in nature, that seeks to exploit and not really push innovation, push people with ideas at the fore. And it encourages it. The current laws that we have governing the extractive industry encourages it. What are the criteria that govern resource sharing in this country? Population, landmass, equality of states, internal generated revenue. So it's almost like people or states are being incentivized based on this thing. So you have more population. Okay, yes, you're going to have more. You have low IGR. You're going to get more. You need people to actually develop, to actually advance. No, you're not. Because you're basically telling them that, see, as long as you remain where you are, as long as you remain down, don't worry, you're going to get this result. Exactly. And that's why the system is like this. The only way that we can actually advance and we can actually develop and get the best out of the resources that we have, because now we are only thinking in the direction of oil. Oil is not the only resource we have. There's gold, there's tin, there's columbite, there's nickel, there's uranium. scattered around this country. But because we are now dependent on crude from the Niger Delta region, we have simply put in place structures that limit people from actually developing, from thinking, from advancing.
On the NUBARI, on the other hand, if we haven't still gotten the crude exploration right, what makes you think that we are capable of also doing, we're capable of handling other mineral resources adequately to enrich the communities?
Well, it all boils down again to the laws that govern all these things, and I put that blame on the federal government.
Dr. SALLAU.
Once we are able to decentralize and give most of these resources back to the federating unit, management of these resources will now boil down to the abilities of the elected officials, elected people in this federating unit to actually make use of it properly for the development of their people. And once the people in this state,
let's give Dr. SALLAU an opportunity to speak, please. Yeah. Okay. Dr. SALLAU, do you have any comments to what he said?
Yes. What he's saying is easier said than done. Even in the Niger Delta, where we have the concentrations of oil production and the rest of it, despite the fact that the federal government has already done the exploration, before even allocating it to holders and the license holders in that region. There's still issue. In case of other diversification we're talking about, in which mining is one of them.
Okay.
Exploration could not have been done by the federal government. It's capital intensive. What the federal government needs to do is to put structure on ground in terms of law. And that is why we have this present law, which is the 2007 Minerals and Mining Act, that is still in operation, and its regulation of 2011 still in operation. Even with all the structure that is in it, with the favorism to the state, to the local community and others, we've not been able to successfully implement it.
NUBARI says that he doesn't believe that the laws are adequate.
He might not believe that the law is adequate, but has he been able to study the law itself? If he had been, which part of it? Because you cannot condemn everything as a whole.
Yeah.
So which of those parts that he felt that makes the blunder and whatever
blundering,
the blundering to be
rampant.
NUBARI,
do you have any answer to that?
Because what we are doing,
okay,
what we are doing presently, especially with the restructuring of the ministry, from single department to 5 now, and then with the systematic way of issuing licenses, I think we're getting something.
NUBARI, do you have any thoughts towards what she has said?
Well, the truth is, if the foundation is faulty, the entire building will be faulty. You cannot now say, let's talk about block A or block B that is good, or that the entire foundation is faulty. It means that the structure that you have built on that foundation is as bad as the foundation itself, no matter how beautiful it might look. The Mineral and Mining Act and all these legislations, which I believe have already been harmonized into what you now have as the PIB, have been built on a faulty foundation of extraction, of plundering, of putting all these resources in the hands of the federal government, denying the local people under whose land these resources are found from having a say in the management of this resource. And at the end of the day, the consequences are much. Let me give you an example. Inogoni, where I am from. You are very much aware of the issues and the disagreements that followed Shell trying to exploit crude.
Yeah.
When it was actually the second place where crude was found after Oloibiri.
Yes.
You are aware of the arguments and the issues that emanated from there. What happened? Shell was coming to explore oil, and in trying to do that, they were destroying farmlands belonging to community members, people whose entire livelihoods depended on farming, not even on exploring crude.
Sir,
they were destroying all those things, and they were not even trying to pay compensations and all that. And at the end of the day, it led to a lot of the disagreements that you had. And all
you
that.
See,
and in addition to that, you have a situation whereby, because the people who are now involved or now who are at the head of the exploiting of these resources are not the people from these communities. They have no care whatsoever for the environment.
This is not the issue with mineral resources.
It's all part of mineral resource exploitation.
What I'm saying is when we talk about solid minerals, in this country today, there are so many wrongs that have been streamlined. And that is what we are saying, do the mining right. When you do this mining right, you will not, all those things we are saying will have been forgotten issue. And look at what happened in recent time. Let me tell you, has it ever happened that the community will go and stop a giant company like that of Dangote, and until their requests were met, they never allowed that place to work? What again do you want the federal government to do? If you let me tell you what is going on. I'm part and parcel of the whole thing. I've worked with the government for 33 years, and I'm now presently in the field. I have an NGO. Why do I have this NGO, which is MSF, Initiative for Advancement in Mining, Earth Sciences and Environmental Protection? Why am I coordinating it? It's because I want the community to be involved without being cheated. The issue of when you go to a community, you see the head of the community and the youth leader is gone. This thing must be spread. It's not that it's not done, but it's never spread. And the people that are benefiting from it will now be causing chaos in the community. That has to be stopped, and that is what we are going through.
Nubari, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so we just have a little bit of time left. Before we round up, Dr. SALLAU has actually given us her own 2 cents on how we can reap the enormous benefits of the abundant mineral resources over the country. But what's your ideal working plan to get ourselves on track to reap the benefits of our abundant natural mineral resources?
Well, it's simple. I believe that the federal government should restructure and amend the constitution to put these resources back under the management of the states, and they should be more concerned about environment and ensuring that the standards in its exploitation are met. Because the fact that the federal government is the sole, the main factor in this that prevented them from enforcing environmental standards.
And environmental standards are important.
An example of that.
Sir,
you have, for example, if you look at it, take a look at the
all
UNEP
what
report.
You have said, sir.
Says that
all what you have said, it's already.
There are some places where you have. Sorry, Dr. Sally. There are some places where you have benzene 800 times above WHO level. It was not the community members that did that. The report says that even after they clean it up, it takes 30 years for the environment to go back to normal. The United States is arguably the most polluted land in the world.
Dr. SALLAU, Dr. SALLAU would like to weigh in.
Yeah, let me tell you one thing. Why this the mineral resources control can never be left in the hands of the states to do. There is no state boundary in mineralization of any type. Then, each state today has their own legislation or how they go about things in their own state. No foreign investor will come in based on the state legislative or whatever law.
Yeah.
To say he is putting his money down on mineral resources, exploration and exploitation in this country today. And that is why the federal government see it deemed fit to start de-risking the mining sector. How do they do it? Okay, let's have some basic exploration of certain commodity in an area where they are located as what? As occurrences. Give out some proving that they are there as deposit. Then we cannot bring in this foreign people, either indigenous or whoever want to partner with them together, and then we start monitoring their activities.
How about their environmental practices?
Everything starts from the exploration.
Okay.
When they finish the exploration or exploitation, then we talk about reclamation. Along the line, everything must start with the exploration, such that you now know what you need to do to reclaim the land. And reclaiming the land in form of restoration, it doesn't mean that you should just plant one evil grasses that will not be beneficial to
the community,
as well as the animals living around. You must plan it properly so that it can even lead to economic trees, of which all the people will benefit. And the environment will be enriched.
NUBARI,
so that is where we're going.
Yeah, NUBARI, any last words?
Well, I would like to say that Nigeria is not the only country that has oil. Oil is being mined in the United States. Oil is being mined in other countries, and they've done that effectively. The United States and some of these other countries have laws, and these states have their own laws. Oil is being mined in Texas, and I don't think the federal government has that overbearing influence in talking about bringing about foreign investment and all that. I think all these are excuses for the federal government for them to continue to centralize resources and dispose it in such a way that it disenfranchises or the host communities are at a disadvantage. Until we ensure that the people who own these resources have a major say in its extraction, whether or not they want it to be extracted in the first place, and how that should go about. We are going to continue to have these roundabout conversations, because the people who now rule or who now
this entire thing
are not members of these communities. And
because you will see the successes that accrue from it, and we will all enjoy it together.
Okay, we actually look forward to, we're Nigerians. This is our country.
Yes,
this is the only home we have.
This is what we have.
Yeah.
No japa.
So NUBARI, I love the fact that you're not mincing your words, you're not sugarcoating anything, and you're saying it as it is. And Dr. SALLAU, I love your optimism and the fact that you stand strong on where you're from and where you work and what you're working for.
Yes.
And we do hope as Nigerians, we are hoping to see a lot of positive change, not only for us, for the future generation that are also going to come.
It has started.
Okay.
And it will be continuous.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, NUBARI. Thank you, Dr. SALLAU, for being on my show. This was amazing. It was enlightening. I'm sure my listeners are very, very happy. I should have opened up the phone lines, but we didn't have much time for that. Yeah.
Okay,
definitely next time I'll have you both back on the program. A very big thank you to my producer, Zion Akinyemi, for always making sure that everything runs smoothly. I really couldn't do it without you, Zion. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you very much to my listeners who always tune in. Same time, Monday, Tuesday, to Battle of Opinions. Thank you very much for always being a part of the show by listening. Up next is the news at noon. Do stay tuned.